March 2022. One of the biggest trades in recent NFL history shook the sports world. Russell Wilson, the face of the Seattle Seahawks for over a decade, was traded to the Denver Broncos in a blockbuster deal. But behind the headlines, there's more to this story, a decision that would send ripple effects far beyond the Broncos and Seahawks. What really led to this move, and how did it reshape the NFL? Today, we explore the untold story behind Russell Wilson's trade and how it changed the league forever. Russell Wilson's career with the Seattle Seahawks was nothing short of legendary. Drafted in 2012, Wilson quickly rose to the top tier of NFL quarterbacks. In his 10 seasons with Seattle, he threw for over 33,000 yards, 267 touchdowns, and made 9 Pro Bowl appearances. His dual-threat ability and leadership helped lead the Seahawks to back-to-back Super Bowl appearances, including a dominant 43-8 victory in Super Bowl 48. But as time went on, cracks began to form. By 2020, Wilson was growing frustrated. He was sacked a league-high 47 times that year, marking the third consecutive season with more than 45 sacks. Wilson publicly voiced his concerns about the team's direction, especially around protection and his role in decision-making.
We had the ball a few times. We were in third in some long situations. They stopped a screen, I think. They stopped a couple of plays early on, and then we had a sack, which was on me.
For a player who had always been the ultimate team player, this was a clear shift. Behind the scenes, tensions were rising. Wilson reportedly wanted more control over offensive schemes and personnel decisions, believing his input could help the team return to Super Bowl contention. But Pete Carroll, Seattle's head coach, had a different vision. Carroll, known for his conservative, run-heavy approach, clashed with Wilson's desire for a more pass-heavy offense. Wilson's growing influence within the organization clashed with Carroll's long-standing philosophy. Meetings reportedly grew tense, with Wilson advocating for better offensive line protection and more opportunities to throw the ball. Between 2018 and 2020, Wilson was sacked 146 times, the highest in the NFL. It's easy to wonder what might have been. Could Seattle have made another Super Bowl run if Wilson had been given more control? Or was the relationship between Wilson and Carroll destined to break down no matter what? By early 2021, trade rumors began swirling. For Seahawks fans, the idea of losing their star quarterback seemed unthinkable. Wilson had become synonymous with the team's success, but behind closed doors, his camp was reportedly exploring options. Among his preferred destinations, the Chicago Bears, Las Vegas Raiders, and Dallas Cowboys. However, one team emerged as the frontrunner, the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, still reeling from Peyton Manning's retirement in 2016, had cycled through a series of failed quarterback experiments. From Trevor Siemian to Drew Lock, no one could fill Manning's shoes. Broncos GM George Paton believed Wilson was the missing piece, the leader who could turn Denver's fortunes around and bring them back to Super Bowl contention. What would have happened if Wilson had gone to Chicago or Las Vegas? Would the Seahawks have gotten a better deal, or did Denver offer the best package? Let us know your thoughts. On March 8, 2022, the NFL world was stunned. The Seattle Seahawks traded Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos in exchange for 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, quarterback Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, and defensive lineman Shelby Harris. It was one of the most significant trades in NFL history. For the Broncos, this trade signaled their intent to win now. Denver had a top-tier defense, a core of talented receivers, and a fan base hungry for success. But for Seattle, it marked the end of an era. After a decade of dominance with Wilson, the Seahawks were suddenly in rebuild mode. But the real question was, would Wilson be enough to turn the Broncos into Super Bowl contenders again? Little did anyone know at the time, the pressure was about to mount. Russell Wilson's trade didn't just impact Seattle and Denver, it shifted the entire NFL landscape. The AFC West, already home to elite quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, became the most competitive division in football. With Wilson in Denver, the Broncos were now legitimate contenders, igniting a quarterback arms race in the division. The trade elevated the AFC West into must-watch territory. With Mahomes, Herbert, Derek Carr, and now Wilson, it became a division loaded with firepower. But the stakes were high. Anything less than a Super Bowl run would be seen as a disappointment for the Broncos. For Russell Wilson, the trade came with immense expectations. Denver had given up significant draft capital and key players to acquire him, and the message was clear: bring a championship to Denver. But the start of Wilson's tenure wasn't without its challenges. Through the first 6 games of the 2022 season, the Broncos' offense averaged just 18 points per game, ranking 23rd in the league. Injuries, poor offensive line play, and miscommunication led to an uncharacteristically rocky start for Wilson. For the first time in his career, Wilson faced significant criticism, with some wondering if his best days were behind him.
I'm confused what's going on. And I didn't believe it at first. I was like, this can't be real. And I got that call that, hey, we're going to bench you for the next 9 games.
Do you think Wilson will live up to the Broncos' high expectations, or has his best window already closed? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. So, how did Russell Wilson's trade to the Broncos truly change the NFL? Beyond its immediate impact, the move redefined how teams approach their quarterback situations. The trade showed that no player, no matter how iconic, is untouchable. It reinforced the importance of being aggressive when pursuing a franchise quarterback, even if it means giving up your future. For the Seahawks, the trade was the start of a rebuild. They used their draft capital to pick players like Charles Cross, a promising offensive lineman, and Kobe Bryant, a defensive back. For the Broncos, it was a statement of intent. Wilson was their guy. But the biggest takeaway from this trade? In today's NFL, teams are willing to bet everything on a quarterback, and the Broncos bet big. What do you think? Will Russell Wilson lead the Broncos to a Super Bowl, or did the Seahawks come out on top by starting fresh? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories from the NFL.